Commissioner, there was a conversation with a member about how the IRS looked at, perhaps identified, but treated people who may be of color. Do you gain information about people and their ethnicity or their race?
We do not collect that information, no.
Then
Sir.
why would you have responded that you look at that and made decisions from that?
That's not my testimony.
What is your testimony?
My testimony is that a research group from Stanford University, using what's called imputed identifiers of race, because we have no race data in terms of taxpayers, identified not a disparate treatment, but a disparate impact, basically saying that on average, our audit algorithms are having the unintended consequence of having black families at a higher audit rate than non-black families. And this is an analysis where you're not using actual race data, you're using what's called imputed race data. So we don't collect race data and we don't plan to.
So you have made changes as a result of this.
Yeah, the goal is to adjust the approach and then working either internally or with external stakeholders, again, using an imputed race methodology, ensure that any efforts that the IRS is undertaking in audit are fair across all demographics, not just race.
So fair, if you are applying the law as it were, and you didn't know whether someone, their ethnicity, their race, you changed how you look at the law based upon some consideration.
I think we have a responsibility to do all of our operations in a non-biased way. There should be no disparate impact or treatment based on political affiliation, race, age. Right, and so in following the law, I think our responsibility under the law is to make sure that IRS operations are carried out without a disparate impact on any particular minority population or political group. And so the type of study that Stanford did is helpful. It basically gives us an outside-in perspective and says, we've studied it, we don't have the race information, but we are able to impute race, and I think the Congresswoman entered the report into evidence, and so the methodology of how they imputed race is in the report. We looked at it and we said, yes, based on this analysis, we agree that the way we are selecting cases for audit is having a disparate impact that would not be consistent with what we believe our responsibilities under the law are, which is to implement the tax code as fairly as possible across all demographics. And so we're making changes in the hopes that the next time this is tested, that the disparate impact no longer exists.
Find it very interesting. I will look at that because it seems like it's a threshold by which you would look at people. Is that more generally, specifically correct?
I don't think so. I mean, the first big step that we took was to just reduce the volume of audits for refundable credits, not related to any demographic, just a specific cut in volume. Because the researchers, and in that Stanford report that's now in evidence, indicate—
What would that figure be then? You went from this to what?
I can get you that data.
I am interested in that because I want to be realistic that I think you're entitled to set thresholds. And I want to be realistic about what the numbers are. I don't want us to find a way to where we might be discriminating or discriminatory, but I would be interested in what those threshold numbers were and what you've changed them to. On behalf of this subcommittee, as the chairman and the ranking member of FUME, we want to thank both of you for taking time to be with us today. I want to thank you for taking time to speak with me the other day. I told you that we would try and be fair. I told you we would probably be prompt. I did not know that we were going to get off like this, but I just want you to know that I appreciate what you have done and taken the time here, and also from the GAO. Does the distinguished ranking member have any comments that he'd like to make? Distinguished gentleman is recognized.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank you for your guidance on this issue as we have spent a lot